Hello everybody, back with a Toon Zelda guide today. And if you couldn't tell from that one video of me banning Toon Zelda, she's definitely becoming one of my favorite characters so far. And very quickly. Toon Link's currently my favorite light character. She might take that spot though, because she just has so much going for her. She's a great character. Okay, weapon skills, these 7. And then for the last slot, I would put regular attacks plus, because her weak string is actually really good. I like her weak string a lot, so that's what I'm probably gonna put there. If you don't want to do that, there's always finishing blow plus, because finishing blow plus is always a very trusty basic skill to have and works in pretty much any and every weapon set. And if you really like versus dragon or versus undead, then I would say get rid of strength 2. Because that one's probably her weakest attack. But for the most part, strong attack and strength 2 through 5, all of them are very solid. You're going to want to use them. It's just strength 2 you can kind of do without. But yeah, the rest you need, especially hasty attacks. And for this guide, I'm not going to actually be using hasty attacks, because some people say on like some of the faster weapons using hasty attacks, it's kind of hard to see what's actually happening. So I will use a not hasty weapon. But for the giant boss section, I am going to be using hasty attacks, because Toon Zelda is terrible on giant bosses. Then you give her hasty attacks, and then she's amazing at giant bosses. So it's just such a dramatic increase. So she's definitely one of the characters that benefits most from hasty attacks. Even though it's like, it doesn't really feel like she's that much different and she doesn't get that much benefit, she definitely does. Okay, onto the guide itself. So, the weak string. Oh my. Yeah, that's definitely one of her best attacks for clearing out keeps. Also, I will say, that 5th hit right there, since she kind of does swing up a bit, that does launch enemies. So, you can kind of... Wait. If you didn't shield, but yeah. You can kind of lead in with it, and here's the finishing blow. Basically, that's kind of... The weak string other than clearing keeps, you'll kind of want to use it to approach. So like start back here. It's like not the keep boss, but if I want to attack that guy, just like launch him up in the air and then do whatever else. That's kind of a nice way to approach, because I mean the sword beams go out really far. And that's also another reason why I say finishing blow plus, because it's like, you're not really gonna do much damage to sword beams. I mean, yeah, you're not much. So that's why I'm saying regular attack plus. Unless, I don't know, if you don't want it. Anyways, C1, combo 1. This thing. Basically, it feels like every hour I'm learning something new about it that makes it even stupider. This thing is amazing. Okay, well, first of all, you're extremely mobile. And that's also kind of another nice way to clear out keeps, because it's like, you're pretty much doing constant damage, you're constantly rolling. You are not invincible while using it. You can get hit, but it is invincible to stun, so you can roll right through Redead and Gibdo Screams, which on my banned Toon Zelda video, I abused way too much. But it's something to be abused, and you should be abusing it. So, yeah, that's really amazing. Okay. Anyways, this attack, it's amazing at setting up other combos, since it can combo pretty much into anything. Especially if you're against a wall, so yeah, like Impa, let's just drag you against a wall. And also, yeah, you can dodge cancel it. That's also a nice thing. Also, it breaks weak point gauges, because why not? And if I couldn't make this thing sound any more stupid than it already was, it can infinite. If you don't have hasty, then basically anything that isn't a character enemy, so not Link, Lana, Zelda, Ganondorf, you're not going to be able to infinite them, but Lizalfos, Pose, Rita, Gibdos, Stall Masters, all those guys, you're going to be able to infinite. And Seal Volga Wizro, you can infinite as well, because they're special. So basically, if you want to infinite, it won't work on Impa, but let's just say it pretend it does. Okay, well, wait for you to do that. Basically, the attack hits 4 times, if you kind of look on the attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, or wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can kind of see them getting stunned. So to infinite, you'll want to hit it on the third hit and dodge cancel out and then start it over again. Because the fourth hit, that'll launch him too far away. So it'll just do 1, 2, 3, dodge, 1, 2, 3, dodge, 1, 2, 3, dodge, 1, 2, 3, dodge, and just kind of keep doing that over and over again. And if you do have hasty attacks, things get ridiculous. So yeah, basically you can infinite anything if you have hasty attacks. I didn't actually test it on everything, but Ruto is a standard officer, so if it does work on her, then it should basically work on anything. And that's hilarious. I'm probably going to have to choose another mission because this one I'm probably going to lose before I actually do anything. Anyways, let's just try to move on with it without having to rescue everyone. Combo 2. Yeah, it's kind of a basic launcher. It's not very interesting. It's just like, okay. It does kind of have the interesting property of hitting behind you, and it can set up for combos where, for the most part, C1 is going to be more reliable for setting up combos. I'd say use C2 if, like, you're right here, well, maybe not here, more like here, and there's not really many walls near you. So if you want to, like, launch someone, then you can use C2 to try to get them up if they don't shield it. And he's just going to keep shielding it. So yeah, you can set that up into combos. C1 you can pretty much set up into every combo. This one you can really only do into C3 and maybe 4, depending on what you're fighting. But yeah, oops, I did. Well, here's special, but I didn't mean to do that. Oops. So yeah, and also if there's for C1, you can kind of just push an enemy into a wall. So even if there's nothing really here, you can kind of just push them in here, and then you can do whatever against the wall. So yeah, that's kind of why I said on Strength 2, that's like the one skill you can get rid of if you want. C3. This can be comboed into a lot of stuff, and it does a lot of damage. And also, mostly what I use it for is on, like, keep bosses and outpost captains, since it kills most of them in one hit. Like that guy, yeah, bye. It kills most of them in one hit, that's what I mostly use it for. But yeah, you can use C1 into C3, C3 into C1, so other way around. So, yeah, that's like nice attack, but it's like, it's just kind of, it's kind of slow, susceptible to shields, and it's like, oh no, you do move a bit, but personally I prefer combo 4, and that's combo 4, so she just does 3 punches, and again, you can basically C1 into C4, if I can do it. That does a lot of damage as well. That's mostly for 1v1. You really are not going to do that for anything else. That's just purely 1v1. But it does a lot of damage. It's nice. And against a wall, you can just abuse anyone with it. It's hilarious. But then again, Toon Zelda is just hilarious in general. And finally, combo 5. So basically, the entire time Toon Zelda is out of her armor, she is invincible. So, and you saw I got hit there. Pretty much the second she jumped back into the armor, I did get hit and took damage. But, yeah. So what you're going to want to use that against is, like, right here, we have 2 or 3. We have 3 Dark Nuts. Maybe more, actually. Or 3 Dark Nuts, 4 Dark Nuts, 5 Dark Nuts. And, oh boy, 5 Dark Nuts and Air Floss. You're basically going to want to C1, like, kind of gather them up. Yeah, so laggy. Oops. And then C5. C5 does a ton of damage. It's as strong as most standard special attacks. It does a lot of damage. So, use that a lot. Mostly against multiple enemies. It's like one enemy you can C1 into C5 if you want. But it's not as abusable as C3 or C4, but you can use it. And since I'm probably going to lose, special attack again. Okay, jumps out of armor, blast light. It does hit behind her a bit, but it's mostly kind of like an oval in front of her, kind of like this shape a bit. So that's mostly just if you're kind of in a tight spot because it does a lot of damage, and you're kind of going to want to use it a lot. But it's like, it's mostly in 1v1. If you want to do damage, if something's about to hit you, use it just to kind of get out of it, because it does hit behind you a little bit, so that's helpful if like a moblin's like sneaking up behind you. And giant bosses, if you don't have hasty attacks, you're gonna need it, because you can't take down any giant bosses without a special if you don't have hasty attacks. So anyways, as I've been mentioning a lot about hasty attacks and giant bosses, I will show you that right now. So before I show off the giant boss, if you didn't watch the Toon Zelda video, yeah, you're gonna be attacking really fast with hasty attacks. Like, it's disgusting. Okay, anyway, sorry, okay, so King Dodongo, Goma, and Manhandla are, for the most part, the exact same. While they are falling down, align yourself sideways and use the combo 2. Since it hits forward and about in front of you and behind you, you're gonna want to position yourself sideways so that they get hit with both hits. And I failed right there. You're gonna want to use 5. I think I used 6 there. That's why I failed. I was talking a lot. Oops. So you're gonna want to use C2 5 times and then just weak string the rest of it down. So there's another Goma here. I will try to do that and not fail, hopefully, because I was talking, not counting, because, like, oops. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Okay. Bam. Bowled over. Okay, so, oops, okay. Argrok now. Basically, since Argrok's from Twilight Princess, he likes the edgy games better than the Toon games, so he decided to feel special and be mean to you. So after you're done, dodge forward. C4. And then just spam C3. So you don't dodge cancel. Dodge canceling is actually slower than just letting the attack finish naturally, and I failed. It's super strict timing. I was probably talking too much. I wasted like 1/10 of a second, and that's just how much time it can take to mess up Argrok. Argrok's really annoying. The other 3 bosses you can do pretty easily. Yeah, it's gonna take some practice and just getting used to, because Toon Zelda is like really fast, but it will work eventually. Just kind of practice. And I have not really practiced against Argrok. I know it works. It's just like I've done it. It's just I suck at it. Done. There. Okay. So, it does work. Okay. It's just, yeah, you need to practice, because she's too fast, and you have to actually kind of concentrate, because of how fast she attacks. But anyways, that's it for this guide. Toon Zelda, she's so much fun to play. Great at pretty much every situation. I guess her crowd clearing could be a bit better, but other than that, she's a monster at 1v1. And if you have hasty, she's decent at giant bosses too. So it's not that big of a problem either. So yeah, I'd say also she's kind of a bit unsafe, but that's also kind of just more like practice getting used to it, and also just kind of abusing the invincibility on C5. But yeah, you can pretty much just spam C1. C1's a better character than Tetra, because Tetra's awful. So yeah, just spamming C1, that's gonna just do wonders already. And then the other moves are kind of like, oh well, you're using extra stuff, yay, bonus damage or combo potential, but C1 already infinite, so what other combo potential do you need? I mean, really. Yeah, that's it for this guide. I said Sand Wand guide on Friday. I'm not exactly sure on that, because I want to get hasty attacks on it, but at the same time, well, it's like, I want to get hasty attacks on it, but I also want to make the guide as soon as possible, so I don't really know if I'll get hasty in time to do the guide. But now I'm leaning more towards I want to get hasty before I do the guide, because it just seems like a really gimmicky weapon, and I could see it becoming a lot better if it had hasty, but I need to get hasty first in order to check it. I'm tossing this, never mind. Okay. So, yeah, I will hopefully have some kind of guide on Friday, if not Sand Wand. I heard someone say crossbows, so Lingle's crossbows sometime. That'll be after the Sand Wand, whenever. And then after the crossbows, maybe Link's horse. Maybe. I'm not sure, but yeah, that seems to be the plan. Toon Zelda, she rocks. Okay, bye.